When will Selena ever get married? If you keep staying at home, you'll never find a boyfriend. My sister Melanie has always been competitive with me, never satisfied unless she's beating me at something. Whether it was school grades or extracurricular activities, she always tried to outdo me, which honestly was quite annoying at times. Her competitive nature didn't change even as we grew older, and Melanie felt superior because she got married before me. Selena, you need to be more fashionable if you want to get married. She often mocked me like that. I never cared about sibling rivalry, so I mostly ignored her. But then something happened that I couldn't overlook. My name is Selena, a 31-year-old freelance web designer. I used to work in a factory for a long time. After high school, I didn't have any specific goals, so I decided to get a job. But factory work with many night shifts and few days off didn't suit me. One day, I learned about web designing. Feeling that it would be a waste to end without trying anything new, I quit my job and enrolled in a design school. After working for a web design company for several years, I successfully became a freelancer. Now I can work whenever and wherever I want, enjoying fulfilling days. Recently, my annual income has almost doubled from when I was employed. My parents played a big part in my success. Wanting to repay them, I decided to gift them a house. Since our family home was getting old, I decided to buy a high-rise condominium. My parents were overjoyed and cried, never expecting such a gift. Now we live together in the condominium, spending peaceful days. When Melanie and her husband Mitch heard about our move, they came to visit. It's amazing that Selena can live in such a condo. You used to work in a factory, Melanie said, her words tinged with sarcasm. Apparently, they lived in an apartment and felt defeated by me living in a condominium. You're a web designer, right? That job must pay well. Well, it's been good recently. Maybe I should start too. If Selena can do it, it must be easy. I was a bit angry at Melanie's casual dismissal of my hard work, but I knew it was pointless to argue. Why not give it a try? You have time as a homemaker, right? Are you mocking homemakers, Selena? Housework is quite hard. You wouldn't understand, being taken care of by mommy. I help my mom too, and I understand the challenges of housework. Yet Melanie deliberately spoke in a sarcastic tone. She seemed quite upset that I was living in a condominium. Perhaps it was the alcohol, but Melanie's snide remarks didn't stop, and in the end, she was scolded by her father. Melanie, haven't you been a bit harsh with your words? Selena has worked hard to get where she is now. Daddy, it's fine, I'm okay. It was a rare family dinner, and Mitch was there too, so I stepped in to stop a fight before it started. Darling, Melanie, you both have had a bit too much to drink. Maybe it's time to call it a night. Thanks to Mom's tact, we managed to avoid a fight, but Dad was still angry, even after my sister and her husband left. I can't believe she spoke like that, without knowing Selena's struggles. Daddy, it's okay. I'm not bothered. When I said that to calm him down, Dad finally relaxed. A few months later, Mitch's company suddenly went bankrupt, and Melanie asked if they could stay with us for a while. We had some spare rooms, and I thought it would be okay until Mitch found another job, so I agreed to let them live with us. I'm sorry, Selena, for barging in like this. No, it's totally fine. Mitch has a college degree, so he should find another job soon. Please bear with us until then. Understood. Even though she had been so snide before, I found it a bit brazen that she would turn to me first when in trouble. But they said they would leave soon, so I reluctantly agreed to let them live with us. However, they never left, and the two gradually began to make themselves at home. My parents were also concerned about Mitch's job situation. It's been 3 months since they said he would find something soon. Mitch hasn't found a job yet? When I asked Melanie, she seemed completely unconcerned. Unlike Selena, Mitch has a college degree, so he'll find a job soon. She didn't take me seriously at all. In fact, she even started making snide remarks to me when our parents weren't around. Why don't you worry about yourself instead of Mitch? What do you mean by that? You're in your early 30s, right? Can you even get married? Unlike me, you're not that pretty. Maybe no one will marry you now. Melanie was saying whatever she wanted. I don't need you to worry about me. Maybe you should be the one worrying, Selena. Mitch will be fine, so relax. Yeah. I was angry, but I held back, knowing that arguing would only please Melanie. Lately, even Mitch started making snide remarks to me. Maybe he was getting frustrated and not finding a job and taking it out on me. You only graduated from high school, right, Selena? Yeah, so what? It takes courage to be independent with just a high school diploma. Why? What will you do if you can't earn money? It seems hard to find a job again with just a high school education. Really? Yes, I think it's just temporary for you, Selena. Well, I have a college degree, so finding a new job will be easy for me. Even though he hadn't found a new job yet. I was furious at Mitch for trying to one-up me based on education. Education might be important at times, but I believe it's not everything. I too once thought that being independent without a college degree would be tough, and my spirit almost broke. But you can study at any age, and I believe everything depends on your effort. Education has nothing to do with it. Yet, Mitch kept making fun of me for only having a high school diploma. The snide remarks never stopped. What's more, Melanie stopped helping with the housework altogether, leaving it all to me and Mom. She would just play in her room or go shopping. Mitch also seemed to have stopped looking for work lately. Instead, he was living a lazy life at home. When our parents weren't around, he would even complain to Melanie about the food, saying, "Wasn't today's meal a bit bland?" I absolutely wanted to avoid letting them freeload like this, and having to support them in the future. Melanie, how long do you plan to stay? If Mitch can't find a job, why don't you work too? I couldn't bear it any longer, so I spoke to them in a firm tone. Melanie replied carelessly, without even looking at me. It's fine, he'll find something soon. Her attitude only fueled my anger. It's been almost half a year since you said soon. Mitch, are you close to finding a job? I might get an offer from a big company. I think the salary will be better than Selena's. Is that true? Mitch was now blatantly lying. More importantly, Selena might not be able to earn money in the future, right? Melanie suddenly changed the subject. Hey, don't dodge the question. If that happens, we'll have to sell this house, right? You shouldn't have bought such a place. What are you trying to say? So, give this house to us. Mitch has a college degree, so his income should be stable. If you leave it to us, you won't have to sell the house. I couldn't tell if they were serious, but they started saying nonsensical things. Wait, do you even understand what you're saying? Mitch isn't even working yet. He's going to get a better job, so it's fine. And this is a good opportunity, Selena. You should live alone. What? You don't need anyone, because you always live with your parents. Leave Mommy and Daddy to us. Enough! This is my house, you know. It seemed that the two were plotting to kick me out and take over this condominium. They made snide remarks and didn't help with housework. They said they'd stay until they found work, but trying to take over my house was unforgivable. I had been lenient because they were in trouble, but I couldn't live with them any longer. I decided to kick my sister and her husband out of the house. When I told my parents, they said, "Actually, Honey and I have been talking since last month that it might be best to kick them out, but we kept quiet because it's Selena's decision." My parents seemed to feel the same way as I did. That night, we called Melanie and Mitch for a family meeting. What's going on with everyone here? What's the matter? We've decided that you two need to leave this house. What? Selena, what are you talking about all of a sudden? I've reached my limit, and so have Mommy and Daddy. Limit? What do you mean? This is so sudden. We can't expect you to leave right away, so we'll give you a month. You have 1 month from today to move out. That's still sudden. Melanie seemed taken aback and panicked, clearly not expecting to be told to leave. Mitch, have you found a job? When I asked Mitch, he looked down and mumbled in a small voice. Not yet. It'll happen soon. It's been half a year already, hasn't it? And even though we're letting you stay, Melanie doesn't help with housework. Lately, both of you have been making snide remarks to me, right? Snide remarks? Daddy reacted to that word. I hadn't told anyone about the snide remarks, so I think my parents were quite surprised. Did you two make snide remarks to Selena? No, that's not. Mitch looked very uncomfortable, and he was sweating. Daddy, it's not like that. It's not snide remarks. It's advice. What advice did you give to Selena? Daddy's voice gradually became scarier. He rarely gets angry because he's usually gentle, but when he does, it's frightening. It's more like... Perhaps intimidated by Daddy's pressure, Melanie's voice trailed off. I explained to Daddy on Melanie's behalf. They advised me that since I only have a high school diploma, my future is uncertain, and that I should live alone to get married, right? What? They said that? Daddy was completely furious. Enough of this nonsense! Uncertain because of a high school diploma? Better to live alone? Are you in a position to say that? Melanie remained silent, looking down. Let me say this now. You have a college degree, so why can't you find a job? If Mitch can't find one, why doesn't Melanie work? Melanie has a college degree too. Melanie and Mitch seemed speechless at Daddy's words. Selena, 1 month is too lenient. They must leave right now. Both of you, pack your things. What? That's impossible! We have nowhere to go! Melanie cried to Daddy, almost sobbing. I don't care! If I say leave, you leave! Mommy! Please, talk to Daddy! This time, she cried to Mom. I feel the same way as Darling. Usually, Mom would side with them when Daddy got angry, but not this time. No way! Daddy's right. 1 month is too generous. Can you leave right now? Even Selena? Mitch, supporting a crumbling Melanie, gathered their belongings and said, I'm sorry, as their last words before leaving. To be honest, Melanie and Mitch had been a source of stress, and I hadn't been able to work as I wanted for the past few months. Thanks to my father, we were finally able to get Melanie and Mitch to leave, and I felt relieved at last. A month later, Melanie suddenly showed up at our house. What do you want? Actually, Mitch and I got divorced. According to Melanie, after being kicked out of our house, they had to go to Mitch's parents' house. Mitch's parents were apparently very strict, and they were furious when they heard about what had happened. Still, with nowhere else to go, they begged and were reluctantly allowed to live with them. Every day after that, Mitch went job hunting and Melanie helped with the housework. But weeks went by and Mitch still couldn't find a job. Despite having a college degree, he didn't have any significant qualifications. And he had only done what he was told at his previous job, though he had no real accomplishment. There were plenty of jobs available if he wasn't picky, but it seemed that Mitch's pride wouldn't allow it. He was looking for a company similar to or better than his previous one. Finally realizing this, Melanie brought up divorce. I never thought he was such a proud guy. It wasn't that he couldn't find a job, he was just choosing. Isn't that awful? While Mitch's inability to let go of his pride was certainly wrong, Melanie, who had continually demanded more income from Mitch than me, was also at fault. If Mitch had taken a lower-paying job, who knows what Melanie would have said. So that's why I'm going to live with everyone from now on. Thanks in advance. That's not going to happen. What? I told you, we can't live with Melanie anymore, right? Daddy and Mommy think so too. But I'm divorced now. It's different from last time. That's not the issue. We're saying we can't stand your personality. Don't come here again, and don't contact us if you're in trouble. Wait! You know I'm not working, right? What am I supposed to do? You have a college degree, don't you? You should be able to earn more than me, a high school graduate, right? So there shouldn't be any problem. I said that and kicked Melanie out of the house. Melanie cried like a child, saying, Don't say that! Please forgive me! I'll listen and help! But I forcibly pushed her out the front door, and she gave up and went home. Afterward, I heard that Melanie is working at a supermarket and living alone. It seems that Melanie, realizing she couldn't beat me no matter what, has given up and is living a modest life. On the other hand, Mitch, still unable to let go of his pride and not finding employment, was kicked out of his parents' house. Who knows where he is or what he's doing now? As for me, I finally got married the other day. I met my partner through work, and we had been dating for several years. We had been considering marriage for quite some time, and I had already introduced him to my parents. The only one who didn't know about it was Melanie. Now I'm living happily with my husband and parents in my house.